Let's talk about Jake Paul. As we all know, he has a fight coming up this weekend, this Sunday on the 29th of August over in Ohio, Cleveland, Ohio, against Tyron Woodley on Showtime pay-per-view. As you guys can see, the card is not so bad. It consists of British fighters like Tommy Fury and Daniel Dubois. It consists of one of the best female boxers out there in the world today, Amanda Serrano. And it consists of a good fight at 140 pounds between Baranchik and Montana Love. Not a bad event in my opinion, if you ask me. Um, yeah, he was recently interviewed by True Gordy. Am I saying that right? I mean, he's pretty popular. He has almost 2 million subscribers. I think he's that big buff guy that was in the Paul versus KSI fight, I think. I don't know. If you search him up, you'll see that he looks familiar. I've definitely seen True Gordy before. But anyway, he interviewed Jake Paul. And during the interview, there was a part where he was asked about Canelo, or they talked about Canelo, about the possibility of fighting Canelo. And, Jake Paul said that, and I quote, he said, "I truly believe I'd put up a better fight than Billy Joe Saunders. Am I a better boxer than BJS? Than Billy Joe Saunders? Time will tell. But sometimes skills goes out the window and it turns into heart, will, determination. That's where Billy lost." Man, Jake Paul really thinks highly of himself, and he really does. And is that a bad thing? Nah. I mean, I always feel like you should always be confident in yourself. Like, I feel like yes, you can be humble, but at the same time, you know, you should be your main character. You should be the main character of your own story. And Jake Paul really puts himself out there. Like, he really wants the world to know who he is, what he's saying, that he can go out there and put up at least a good fight against Canelo. Do I think he would? Yeah, he would get totally destroyed. But honestly, though, I'm gonna be honest. I wouldn't mind watching it. I wouldn't mind paying for it. I honestly would pay for Canelo versus Jake Paul. I'd pay money for that fight. I'm gonna be completely honest. I know Canelo is not gonna probably fight Jake Paul. I mean, Canelo has stated before that all this YouTube stuff is bullshit. That YouTubers shouldn't be fighting this and that. He's not a fan of this YouTube fights. But maybe for the right price, he might do it. He might do it. And hell, a lot of people would pay for it. Let's say Jake Paul fights and beats Tyron Woodley this weekend, right? Let's say he beats him, and then let's say Tommy Fury wins in the undercard against Anthony Taylor, because it seems like Jake Paul will be fighting Tommy Fury, and they end up fighting each other. Tommy Fury versus Jake Paul. They fight each other, and Jake Paul wins. What's next for Jake Paul? Maybe a fight against Conor McGregor. And let's say he beats Conor McGregor somehow. And, the list goes on. His hit list goes on. And Canelo is also on his hit list, I believe. And, if they can make that fight, a lot of people will pay for it. A lot of people will. Even though we all know, at least us, boxing fans at least, all know that Jake Paul would totally get destroyed. Because I'm sure the kids out there will definitely be rooting for Jake Paul, thinking that he can, has a chance to beating the number one best pound for pound boxer in the world. And it's crazy because, kids really know who Jake Paul is. A lot of kids out there know who Jake Paul is. And, people, they're watching boxing because of Jake Paul, which is crazy. Not because of Pacquiao, Canelo. Well, Canelo, I'm sure there's a lot of young kids in Mexico that follow Canelo, but at least here in the States, from here in America, as they say, in America, there really isn't a a big role model boxer, or at least that the kids pay attention to. You know, there was Floyd, obviously, and Pacquiao. Obviously, you know, those were the top guys in the sport of boxing. You know, that the casual fan base know about. But you know, even the casual fan base right now, um, just don't know. I mean, they just know Jake Paul right now, and they will tune in. They will watch Jake Paul. I wonder how much this pay per view will sell. Let's if this pay per view sells more than a million pay per view buys. If it does, imagine how much money would it be against somebody like Canelo. It's a lot of money. A lot of money for an easy paycheck. For Canelo, at least. And I'm sure Jake Paul will actually come to fight, man. And he seems like he's a guy that would be willing to actually show up and train for a fight like that. Jake Paul actually, at least from my point of view, he seems like he's taking this boxing stuff seriously. At least that's what I think. I know he's a goofball and you know he says stupid shit here and there. But I think he in the gym. I think he actually takes his fight seriously, and he wants to go out there and actually win. He has that competitive side in him. So we'll see. We'll see, man. We'll see. I don't know. I just thought I'd make a video about it. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. And like always, have a great day. All right. Thanks.